Like I was trying to say, you know, there's the Jan, and there's the devil ant. Okay, and I want to say, I'm gonna take that, get that to go. By the way, I'm gonna take that in a doggy bag, and you can't have a devil ant. That's for me. Okay, now. I'm gonna have your Java though, Rock. Okay. Anyway, but like I was saying, some of these guys say, "Oh, Rock, can you mention me when you're on?" One guy says, "This thing." This looks kind of dark. I'm getting like a silhouette here. Yeah, this guy says to me, "Rock, you know who you should mention when you're on?" I go, "Who?" "You should mention me." You know, and I just met this guy, you know, and when I was going to be on Man Cow, he wanted me to mention him on Man Cow, and I thought, well, yeah, but I got other friends that have helped me in my movies. If I was going to mention anybody, I should mention them, because these guys have helped me for years. They've been in my movies. I'm going to mention somebody. I should mention somebody like that. I said, I don't even know you, you know? And, you know, so, and this one guy in the store says, "Oh, you're going to be on WGN?" I told him I was going to be on WGN. "Oh, can I ask you a question?" And I knew what he was going to ask. He was going to ask me if I could mention it. And sure enough, he goes, "Can you mention me? Can you say hi to Bob or Bill or whatever his name was from Displays?" And I'm like, I said, I'm not on the show for that reason. I'm not there to like name drop and say hi to all these people. I said, I only have like 4 minutes when I'm on. I have time to talk about my movies and talk about myself, and they want to know what I'm doing. You know, tell them that I was in the Marines, you know, and I always flex my muscles at the end. So, I mean, I don't have time for that. And he goes, well, not long. Just say hi to someone. Say hi to Bob or Bill from Display. I'm like, I said, yeah, but I'm not supposed to do that, you know. And you know, I told him, I said, you're not going to get famous just because I mention your name. That's not going to make you famous. You get known by doing something consistently, over and over and over again, and never quitting. And the guys that don't quit are the guys that win. And you also got to promote what you're doing. You got to let people know about it. I wrote WGN for 3.5 years, 3 times a year for 3.5 years. Finally, they call me back and they go, "When can you be on the show?" And I always left my phone number. I made my own like letterhead with a typewriter. And I went to Kinko's and I enlarged the lettering so the lettering would be big, like David Rock Nelson, filmmaker. And I had my brother and sister take pictures of me down in my basement with my movie camera, my video camera, and holding my Frankenstein mask, or in my backyard, you know, with my movie camera there, directing a movie. So, and I used that for my letterhead. So it's got two pictures of me, one holding a Frankenstein mask, one with a script. Sitting in my director's chair with the video camera, and then it says David Rock Nelson, filmmaker. My address is in the corner, and at the bottom I typed my own letter, a form letter, and I made like 20 copies of it. And I left the station where it says "Dear Blank." I always left that blank, and it was WGN. I typed with the same typewriter WGN, and I left it. And when I wrote Fox 32, I wrote "Dear Fox 32," and when I wrote Channel 11, I wrote "Dear WTTW." Right. So I left that part blank, but it was the same letter. And in the letter, I told how I'm called Chicago's version of Ed Wood. I was given that name by the Psychotronic Film Society. The Ed Wood of the 90s, they called me. Mike, the president of the Psychotronic Film Society, gave me that name. So now Ron Adams of Monster Bash calls me the Orson Welles of the 21st century. Svengoolie calls me the Ed Wood of the 22nd century and beyond that even. So, I mean, I got lots of names. So, you know, I've been given those names. I was given the name to Rock by my boxing coach, Greg Ozimek. And my boxing coach, Oscar Rodriguez, called me Rocky because I was always fighting back. I was an amateur boxer. I had 26 amateur fights. I was in 5 Chicago Golden Gloves tournaments. 76 and then 88 through 1991. A total of 5 Golden Gloves tournaments I was in. I boxed during 3 decades. Part of the 70s, part of the 80s, and part of the 90s. And I'm the first guy in Chicago to do that in Chicago Golden Gloves. That's great. And in Chicago, in amateur, you know, I had 26 amateur bouts. You know, I was 34 in my last fight in 91 Chicago Golden Gloves. But I want to say, so, see, it takes time to reach these goals. I was in the Marines for 4 years. Some of these guys say, you know, I want to be famous like you, Rock. Well, have you been through what I've been through? Were you in the Marines for 4 years? I'm not saying you have to be in the service. I'm not saying I wouldn't join the Marines now. It's too dangerous. There's too many people getting killed in Afghanistan and stuff. But I was in 76 to 80, and it was more of peacetime then, and there wasn't a major war going on then, thank God. I didn't have to shoot at anybody. But I did the training. That I have 4 years active duty. I wasn't a weekend warrior. I was full time. You know, I had vacations off. You know, I had like a month off a year. But I mean, other than that, like 2 weeks off or a month, 2 weeks off per year, I think they gave me. But I was a full-time Marine. I made corporal. I got a good conduct award. And so was a non-commissioned officer, corporal. They called me Corporal Oorah Nelson over there, fighting Fox Company, 2nd Battalion, 8th MARDIV, 8th Marine Division, Camp Geiger, North Carolina, which is near Jacksonville. But anyway, that's where I got the name Corporal Oorah, because I was highly motivated. I love the Corps. I'd say, Oorah, it's another Marine Corps day. They say, shut up, Nelson, we're not all motivated like you. But like I'm saying, it takes time to reach these goals. So look, now, Viceland heard about my movies, and my movies were screened at Alamo Drafthouse Cinema in 2002. I was in the documentary called Rewind This by Josh Johnson, who asked me to be in it. I'm in 5 minutes of his documentary on video called Rewind This. That's a tribute to VHS video, fans of video, and those that film on video like I used to do. Now I film with digital, but I still use video though. I still use all my video footage I shot.
That's great.
But so it's a combination of video and digital that I do now. Like I say, Alamo Drafthouse Cinema in Austin, Texas, and then now Evan Hudley from the Viceland channel, Vice Media out there in New York. They're also overseas too in the UK. They have one over there, but Evan Hudley and Zach Carlson, my good friend from Alamo Drafthouse Cinema, wanted to, him and Evan Hudley, they all got me to be in this new documentary for Viceland, the show called The Outsider. And I'm going to be on that Friday, March 31st at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And also there's Mike, the camera guy from Vice, nice guy. I gave him my jacket. Well, I gave my jacket for those guys to wear. One of my jackets from one of my monster movies.
I'll have to check that out.
Giant Horny Toad Monster movie. I gave them the jacket I wore in Giant Horny Toad Monster. They really liked that jacket. Mike was wearing it. He's the camera guy for Vice. And Eric Bresler and Carly Bresler, they had me down at the Philadelphia Film Fest in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the town of brotherly shove. Because if you're not careful, you get shoved around down there, right? But I filmed Bigfoot Runs Amok over there in one day, and so Bigfoot will take care of those thugs for you. My movie Bigfoot Runs Amok, my newest movie, is on DVD, and I'm doing a sequel called Bigfoot Wreaks Havoc. But I think the Philadelphia Mausoleum of Contemporary Art with Eric Bresler, I want to thank him too, because they filmed a lot of the documentary there for Vice Media, for The Outsider. They filmed a lot of it when they had the world premiere of my Frankenstein Stalks movie there last April 23rd, 2016 at the Mausoleum of Contemporary Art in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Very good.
The home of Smokin' Joe Frazier, my favorite fighter, whom I met 3 times. Rest in peace, Smokin' Joe. He's a great man. He's my favorite champion. Okay.
All right, cool.
Okay, there's my Devilant poster.
Beautiful.
My next movie, Devilant Invades Vegas, right there.
Don't forget to get a container
And
for
there's
yourself.
an autographed picture of me for my buddy here.
Cool.
And I'm gonna get my bait next to go in the doggy bag.
Cool. Awesome. Forget your markers.
Don't forget your marker, he said.
Oh yeah.